I wasn't so driven out. I would,
Yeah.
make money on that, but.
Might even be able to work out a delivery in there, so I don't have to look at it anymore. Don't worry about that, this isn't for you.
You get the whole rig.
Yeah,
Let me just bring, I'll
Is
just
it
put it
masked
right
in
in
it?
front.
Mast is beside it,
Yeah,
yeah,
okay.
that's all, it's there, everything's in
Sales
there.
and everything.
Yep.
Might have to take a look at it, yeah. Might know someone on there.
Oh, Jesse said that, yeah, you said, oh, the clock is accurate. Oh, usually that thing's off by 5 minutes.
He's just fixing it.
Yeah, just
All
got
right.
changed.
Got 5 o'clock, I'll call the meeting to order today, Monday, March 10th, 2025. Roll call, Selectman Howdy Goodwin, Eric Eaton, Mackenzie Jewett, Kevin Buck, myself, Jamie Thurlow, Town Manager Jesse Dunbar, and Town Clerk Sarah Abbott. Adoption of agenda, is there anything anyone would like to change on the agenda? Okay, approval of minutes. We have the minutes from March 3rd.
Make a motion to approve the minutes of Monday, March 3rd, 2025.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to approve the minutes from March 3rd, 2025. Is there any discussion? All those in favor? All right, next we have approval of warrants. We have warrant 92 for $145,505.02 and 93 for $15,973.36.
I make a motion to approve warrants 92, 93.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to approve warrants 92 and 93. Is there any discussion? All those in favor? All right, next we have regular business. First thing we have is Public Works Garage Improvements.
So, these two items in the memo, one of them, the lighting, has been an issue for a little bit down at Public Works Garage. There's one light in each bag, it's the big round one mounted up in the ceiling. It's pretty insufficient for working on equipment, and they've had concerns about it for a while, that they'd like the lighting improved. We initially got an estimate a couple months ago that was around $7,000. We've since got a second estimate that's down around $3,100. That is replacing those three, disposing of those units, replacing them with 9 LED lights. It also includes some outlet repair and some additional outlets. We have some funds coming in from FEMA from the January 2024 storm that reimbursed Public Works for responding to the storm, equipment hours and man hours. Those were all part of our normal budget. They weren't overtime hours or anything like that. They were just their regular day-to-day hours. But FEMA reimburses for anything associated with the storm. So they have approved a reimbursement of approximately $7,500. That currently is at the State of Maine office. It'll actually probably be a little higher because the State of Maine chips in a percentage on top of that amount. It should be here sometime this spring or June-ish. So that on top of a newer issue that's come up, I thought we could discuss using those funds versus adding these two items to the budget. Those funds will just be recorded as excess revenue when they do arrive. They would roll over into the surplus if you don't choose to use them. The other issue is the drainage in front of the garage, where the water comes down the hill and goes across the concrete apron, eventually to the storm drain. It seems to have eroded underneath the pavement where it meets the apron, and the pavement has started to cave in and is now holding water there, so it can't get to the storm drain. So we've discussed very preliminary putting in a drain layer So, just put on there for discussion of whether or not you wanna utilize those incoming funds for those two. There are funds, if we were to go over the 7,500, there are some funds in the building maintenance line for Public Works garage in the normal budget.
Yeah, I know, as far as the lighting, they need more lighting down there. I've worked in there a few days and it is horrible. Like, you cannot see a single thing.
Yeah.
First bay's not bad, but when you get out in the big section where the 3 other bays are, you can't see a single thing. You gotta have a drop light to see what wrench you've got in your hand. It's bad, so I think that's pretty inexpensive too. I'm surprised they can do it for 3,100 or 30 whatever hundred.
Mhm.
Actually,
Was
that
that the
question-
same company with both estimates?
No.
What's the difference in the estimates? Anything different quality-wise?
The only thing I question, are 3 lights in each bay enough?
Mhm.
I mean, I know when I work, I like to have a lot of light.
Yeah.
Yeah, and when you're working on a vehicle in a bag, lights along the side of the wall help.
Yeah.
When you're working under the truck rather than the overhead lights too, so.
Yeah.
There's just a couple now. I'm trying to think of what there is, but just a couple in the middle. I think there's only like
Yeah,
2.
the ones in the middle are
Yeah.
kinda
Yeah.
And
useless.
that's in the big section.
Yeah.
And you get to the sides, you can't see a thing. I mean, it's dark.
Nope.
That's why I say the wall
Yeah,
lights.
oh, for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, I'd almost put 3 down each side, I think. I don't know how much I would add, but you can do it, might as well make it workable.
Mm.
Yeah. I think the fixtures themselves were between 150 and 200.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's nothing to add a few more of those.
And a little bit of wire and time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that catch drain, I'll point to Healthy on that. I don't know if, you think that will work, putting a catch drain across the front like that?
I haven't looked at what the
No.
problem is, but
It is, you can tell it's holding right where the pad comes out, where that apron is on the front. When it comes out of there, it's
so it's
just
settled,
rutted down.
settled before
Yeah.
that?
Yeah, before
Yeah,
the
yeah.
manhole was.
Is that some Public Works is gonna do themselves?
It depends.
What are you talking, putting a trench drain the whole length of the apron? I would cut it back and I would put it in concrete rather than in pavement.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I was considering.
Yeah, I just wanna make sure
concrete, yes.
you're allowing enough money for it, to make sure it's done. Cause I would think that would cost 7,500.
Trench drains ain't cheap.
Yeah.
You can get them from American Concrete all made and the
Yep.
drains all in them and with a slope all in them and everything, so.
Mm. But yeah, I would say use the funds that we have,
Yeah,
or that
Yeah.
we're
Sure.
getting.
Yeah. Yep.
It's a good spot to use them. Would anyone like to make a motion on that, just so Jesse has something?
Yeah. I make a motion to authorize the town manager to designate the FEMA Public Assistance Funds received as reimbursement for public works towards the cost of upgrading the garage lighting and installing a drain along the garage apron.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to authorize the town manager to designate the FEMA Public Assistance Funds received as reimbursement for public works towards the cost of upgrading the garage lighting and to install a drain along the garage apron. Is there any discussion? All those in favor? All right, the only other thing we have here is, the FY '26 budget. More budget stuff we just.
So, the only changes that were made were from the last meeting, where you made the request, to use the 116,000 as a surplus fund to offset the municipal budget. Made that change in your packet. For Mackenzie, who wasn't here, we did go over the, items that changed that were over $5,000 from last year to this year. So if you have any questions that you want me to go over. We did just today get the, school budget, which will be on next week's agenda. It has gone down from the 11.4% increase that you reviewed back in February, it has dropped to a 10.1% increase. So in your budget summary, your overall, that you talked about last week, your overall increase was 6.7. And with the new school number that you'll review next week, it is 5.9 for everything.
What was our municipal budget, just so Mackenzie
3.4.
knows?
3.4,
But prior to us putting the 116.
11.3.
Okay. And then we took 116 like we did last year, basically from the interest on our investments, and applied that to the taxes, and that brought it down to 3.4.
So
So you
right
know.
now, the property taxes needed for the municipal budget, that 3.4% is an increase of 50,687 over last year.
And that's
You-
just for the municipal?
Yeah.
That's municipal, yep.
You will have, on Monday's meeting, you'll also have the, numbers from the fire department for the truck lease that you talked about last
Mhm.
week. So we'll have those numbers, which, if you want to include, would increase that.
Catch me up on that one.
So the
Quick
fire,
version.
the fire department's request, their general request is 150,668, which is an increase of $6,000 over last year's budget. This year, they also submitted a separate request to have the town purchase a new pickup truck for the department. The board discussed last week that was a large ask to just buy the $70,000 truck. So the fire department offered that it was a possibility to lease the truck, so the board asked to see the lease numbers for the budget.
And you guys are still getting the lease stuff together? We haven't got that yet?
Yep,
Is that
we've
what's-
got most of it, but it'll be on Mondays.
Okay. Got it.
And then, what else? We're waiting on a final number from, Southwest Harbor on the police. All signs indicate that it will be a very minimal increase, but I'll know after tomorrow, next meeting.
And I know you already knew Mackenzie, but I think you did, the ambulance service was up a lot. That was one of the increases we had. Remember when we approved it a while ago, but that was, what, 40,000, I think, roughly.
Mhm.
That was an increase. Trying to think of some of the big ones that we looked
Yeah.
at then.
Yeah.
So we were happy to be able to keep it at 3.4. It
No,
was-
you're killing it, Jesse. Good job.
You will review, Monday's meeting, you'll go over the wharf, the harbor, and Silvo. That doesn't really have any much impact at all on the budget, tax budget. But you still review it at this time every year. The harbor committee is going over it, this Thursday. It's in your packet now, but, well, in your binder now, but.
And we've put money aside for the public safety building, or we?
Yeah.
Yes, so there's.
Adjusted that
there's-
also.
Yeah, there's 100 going in there, cause they made the motion at the last meeting to use the 50 from the Versant lease
Mhm.
and the usual 50 in the budget, so it'll go up by 100.
And what did that bring us to? You said
385.
Okay, yep. So that's a pretty good chunk
Right,
we've
'cause
set
that's
aside
something
already.
we've really gotta get our
Yep.
heads wrapped around sooner than later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the school has been open to, you said that they're coming back Monday with a different number?
Yep, so
Good.
they took out some things, they took out the airmen, they took out the fencing, and then they had to add some things that they didn't anticipate, that they got word of last week, so it went back up slightly, but it's still down from what they brought us in February.
Nice.
can't think of anything that I see we should be changing in there. It looks good to me, as good as it's
Yeah.
gonna get.
Yeah.
And Monday we finalize everything? Monday's the last.
Monday, we finalize everything for the warrant, and then we'll bring the draft warrant the following Monday.
Does anybody have anything they would like to change or anything to look into? Alright. I don't think it looks great. Do you need any motion from that if there's no changes?
No,
Okay. Alright, you don't have a manager's report on what happened last week? Yeah, he gets out of it when we have him once a week. Suggestions for the next meeting? Date of the next meeting?
I'll make a motion to confirm the date of the next meeting for Monday, March 17th at 5 PM at the town office.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to confirm the date of the next meeting for Monday, March 17th, 2025, 5 PM at the town office. Is there any discussion? All those in favor? Motion to adjourn?
Second.
All those in favor? Easy peasy. That wasn't a record, it was like 15 minutes.
Meeting's been like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
That's my first one.
Yeah.